Welcome to Afros in the Diaspora. My name is Sarah. I am your host, and together we will vent, rant, laugh, and cry as we discuss the highs and lows of being an immigrant. Stay tuned for stories that will inspire, inform, entertain, and give hope. This is Afros in the Diaspora. Welcome to another episode of Afros in the Diaspora. And today we have a very special guest. He is a music producer, he is a DJ, he's a saxophone player, he's an artist, and I'm just so grateful and glad to have him on the podcast today. Mr. Slim Tyme, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yo, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you here as a guest. I'm really excited about this episode. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited as well too. I'm excited. It's nice to be warm and not be outside in the freezing tundras that is Calgary.
Yeah, minus 40 and below. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, let's dive into the icebreakers. So we all know Slim Time that you are a Nigerian man based here in India. So I am going to
Yeah.
ask you questions from the motherland. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. Hopefully I still remember.
You better. You're representing your entire country right now.
No pressure. No pressure.
None at all. Tinubu will be proud of you.
That's not my president right now. But
that's not your.
It's what it is.
Oh my lord. Okay. So Slim, I need you to say the national pledge, the Nigerian national pledge.
I haven't done that in years. Okay. Let's see. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity. So help me God.
No, and uphold the honor and glory. So help me God.
This one line. I'll take 90%. I'll take 90%.
Yeah, 90%. You did good. It was,
Wow.
you just recalled it from memory, like, because you said it probably on the assembly line every day.
Oh yeah, so every day for how many years? How many? Wow.
For like secondary, primary school, like that's like 12 years altogether.
Like, up until this moment, I forgot I read Nigerian pledge.
Oh really?
I totally forgot that was a thing that we used to do. Like I remember like national anthem and school anthem.
Yeah.
But then the pledge, I was like up until the moment you asked that, I was like I totally forgot that we used to do that.
Oh,
which is crazy.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. The anthem, the school anthem, and the pledge every day.
Yeah.
Every bloody day.
Yep, Monday to Friday.
Just in case you forgot you were Nigerian, let's remind you.
Yeah, man. Man, that just brought back so many memories, man. Especially like being because like I've always been into music since I was like how old?
Yeah.
But like right from like when I was in nursery 1, so I was I joined the band. So I was one of those people that was either carrying drum or banging drum when I sing national anthem or
really?
keyboard and all that. Yeah.
Wow.
Like right from when I was younger. So like that's where I learned a lot. I learned a lot, like learning the national anthem, learning to play all that, But,
yeah. And I know like the band used to get really fancy, like in my primary school, because we had a full band and like the anthems were a whole event, like the drumming and all that. But I know like it was a big deal. Like if you're in the band, you were kind of looked at a certain way. Like, okay, I guess you're one of the elites in school or something.
Yeah, we're lucky the 6 to 10-year-old rock stars at the time,
Oh, amazing. Okay, so I have another one for you. And this one, also in primary school, we were asked to recite it almost every day, taking you all the way back. I need you to recite the states and capitals of your beloved country, Nigeria. You got this.
This one, this is something I was never able to do, even like when I was in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
I'll maybe get like the first 5, But
Mm-hmm.
then after that, it was just like,
Na,
nah.
na, 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 na. Or you just kind
Like
of hum along with everybody else.
exactly. Like, I always had you always had that one friend that just knew everything. So like you kind
Yeah,
of just match their whatever their frequency was at. You just match them
you
and
just
like
match it. I just
uh,
yeah yeah
but,
yeah
like, that's at that point. Not turns to drum and like,
yeah. Oh, you
you
just
say
became the drummer.
exactly. You just stop stop moving and you become the drummer. That's like sorry. And the funny thing is that even like till today, like whenever I play today, whenever I play some songs on the sax, I actually do not know the words. So yeah,
No.
I do not know the words. I just know the melody, so I just play the melody and then go with it. Because
Oh,
like it's I give credit to a lot of singers because like singers do a lot. Singers do a lot
you're
of work because like you're
memorizing and
learning
you're yeah.
lyrics and like
Mm-hmm.
man, so like you know what
So
yeah,
you
that
just
one, I'll gladly take the L on that one.
you
And
got me. You're not even gonna try though. Like you're not even gonna say the first five that you know.
okay, we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Okay,
Okay.
Abia, Umaya, Akwa
Mm-hmm.
Ibom, Uyo, Adamawa, Anambra, Oka, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Lagos, Ikeja.
Did you mention your own state in all that?
Oyo, yeah, Jesus, Ibadan,
Wow. No.
yeah, wow. Oshu is Oshogo. I know that one. I think.
Ogbomosho, I think. Isn't that Oyo?
Oyo Ogbomoso. Wow, that's crazy because that's my
Do,
hometown. That's
oh.
crazy. That's crazy.
Right? Do I have that right?
Hopefully my
Oh
dad
no,
doesn't
actually
listen to
you were
this.
right. You were right the first time. Oyo Ibadan. I messed you up.
I knew I did not know some things, but I know that one. I knew that one for sure.
Yeah, no, I wanted to mess you up. Sorry.
Wow. I'm saying I almost failed. I was wow.
No, I mean
That's
like
tough.
let's just say you got a few out of the ones you said somewhere right, somewhere. You got either the state or the capital, so like that's a win.
You know, exactly. See, that's the thing. Like, it's like sometimes you know your strengths, and then you just know where you got to bow out. You know.
Yeah. Okay. One final icebreaker. What are some Nigerian mom sayings that you remember from growing up or from being in a Nigerian
Oh,
family, basically? I can go
you know,
first if you like.
like there's one that's already in my head right now.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
You know where you say, here's your bag. Where do you want me to put it? Please on my head.
On my head.
But and the thing is that if you not obey, they'll fight you. Like it's like imagine being like a 6-year-old child. Like you've been told the entire life. Anytime I say something, do it. You now do the thing that you say you should do, and then now they like you're shocked and say, but you said I should do. You said I should put it on your head. So what am I supposed to do?
That's like the African like sarcasm. It's very vicious. It could be very vicious. It's
Yeah,
like and it's
yeah.
just a universal African parent language. It's like, okay, put it on my head. And God bless you, you put it on her head. You will
Oh, for
just
real,
you,
for real.
yeah. Or
Like,
when you can't find something and you're like your mom sends you say to go get her bag or whatever from her bedroom and like you can't find it. And you go tell I can't find it. What is there? She said if I go there and I find it,
the,
like that one right there.
like the fear, like all of a sudden you turn to X-ray. Your eyes turn to X-ray glasses. And you can all of a
Yes,
sudden you can start seeing through things.
yes.
And the crazy thing about that statement is like they know exactly where it is,
Hmm.
but like they expect you to like read their minds to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, just
You
check the
know
general vicinity and hone in on where exactly it is.
exactly. And the crazy thing about that is like sometimes I feel like it translates to us.
Hmm.
I find myself doing a lot of like, a few of those things from time to time, but
Hmm.
like it's so funny because like the things that we make fun of, like we joke about,
Yeah.
slowly we're starting to adapt
You're
and
becoming
imbibe
that.
those
Yep.
things.
Yep. Yep. As you
Yeah,
grow older, you're like, wait, my mom says that. Why did I just say that?
Nah, for real, like for
Yeah,
real.
yeah, hundred
Wow.
percent. Yeah, I think another one was if you like in school, right? And say you made the mistake of not coming first in class.
Like as soon
So
as you said school, I knew exactly where you were going. Like I knew exactly where you were going.
if
Like
you, yeah, do you wanna fill it in or do you want me to continue?
let's continue because this one is like it's bringing back trauma.
Not trauma.
Like
Oh my gosh! And then you made the mistake of not coming first, and they're like, "Hello, the person that came first, do they have two heads or what?
like
Do they
and
have two heads? What do you mean by your second place in class? Are you did God make you second place? What are you talking about? Do the people that came first, do they have two heads? That two heads thing, man, I can't.
and the crazy thing is the difference between first place and second place might be like 0.5%.
0.5.
But you don't care that it's point. It's the fact that you came second place. And
Yeah,
like at the most part, like your class might be like 100 people in your class. And you
yeah.
came second out of 100. And it's like no,
That's
you have to
that's a win, but
like they're like no, you have to be first.
yeah,
But
because they were
but
first.
and the thing about that is like you have to imagine that's when you have, if you do your Bible study very well, you have to bring it back to them and say the Bible says the first shall be the last and last shall be the first. So
No,
that
no, no. That one, that's a recipe for disaster. If you try it, your parents are in the middle of chastising you for whatever the reason is that you stay and you quote Bible for them. Ah,
hey, hey, if you do something wrong, then those are quote Bible for you first. So sometimes you have to give
yeah,
them to
but
it, you know.
that's them. They are the ones quoting it for you. Not it does not happen the other way around. This is not a mutual. This is.
Oh
Oh
man.
my goodness.
Oh
Amazing. Thank you for engaging with me in those trivia slash icebreaker questions.
yeah, no worries. Like I
uh,
man, like I honestly like as bad as things are back home, like I loved growing up in Nigeria. Like I
yeah.
think a lot of things that you learn just like Nigeria forces you to grow up and be tough in certain ways, but
Yeah.
it also gives you like certain life skills that like if there's if if they make the mistake of power outage in this Calgary, the only people that will survive are Nigerians. I can
The
guarantee you that one.
Africans. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
like because like
The
we are
Africans will survive. Yep.
is it to wash clothes with hands? We have done it
Abio.
multiple times. Is it to cut grass with cutlass? I've done it multiple times. Like is it to be washing plates with hands? Like we
Yeah,
have
exactly.
like Nigerians are the like this like, if the apocalypse happened today, I can guarantee you Nigerians will survive. Because the reason why I know this is because you will find Nigerians in places that you never expect Nigerians to be. Because why are there Nigerians in Russia?
Oh.
Like, how did you end up there? That's my question. Like, if you go to the North Pole or South, I guarantee you find at least one Nigerian family there.
Oh yeah, no, we're everywhere. We don't
Like,
play with that.
but
When
and
the
it is
Bible
like
says,
we
"Be fruitful and multiply," Nigerians said,
Nigerians
"Yes."
took it
They said,
Nigerians
"You
took it
say less,
seriously.
say less,
like
God,
like
say
for
less."
real. Like for real, it took it very seriously. And the thing is, like Nigeria, like wherever you put Nigerians, they will thrive and they will survive and they will thrive to the point where like you will
Yes,
question where you actually put them because like there's this thing about Nigerians where like no matter what like no matter what we put in our hands, we'll take it, duplicate it, and like whether and the thing is like it happens both for good and for bad,
and for
you
bad,
know,
yeah,
which
they'll
is like
duplicate it
that's
and
a
sell it
sad thing.
back to you,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
you buy it back. Yeah. Oh,
Like for real.
amazing. Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into a topic. Slim, I just
Yeah.
want you to give us an idea of your story, like how you moved to Canada, settled in Canada, and just give us an idea of your immigration story.
Yeah. So I guess there's really not too much to my immigration story, just mostly because I think I was 14 at the time, so I kind of qualified based off of my parents. Um, and it's so funny because like I was in boarding school in Nigeria. Shout out Faith Academy, Canaanland.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You know
All right.
that's where I was. I was situated from
Yeah.
JS1 up until SS1.
Okay.
Um, and it's so funny. It's so funny because like like I think it was earlier this year. I actually came across the picture. My dad took it. So it was one of the visiting days, like earlier in the first term. My dad came. He came with a bunch of like folders and documents. He said my brother had to sign, blah blah all that. And then like he took a picture of us as we were reading the documents. At that time, we didn't know what it was, and he was like, "We're moving to Canada." I was like, "Oh," and so he was like, "Yeah, so this is your last term. So like December, we'll be moving." And I was like, "Wow." Like it was like, my thing is like we had to keep it low key. Like you couldn't
Of
tell
course. I was gonna
anybody.
say, who do you want to
Like
tell? Your enemies so that they will destroy your plans? You know
literally
what I mean?
no, like for real. Like people
Yeah.
didn't know I was moving up until like the day that my parents came to pick me up.
Mm.
And it was so fun, and it's so funny the day that my parents came to pick me up because till today, like that's one of the funniest occasions like of my life because I don't remember what it was that had happened, but I so normally after classes are done, we get back to your hostel, you go to your building, your building's already opened because the house was already unlocked. This everyone just goes in, go and change, get ready for siesta, whatnot, blah blah blah. On this fateful day, as my parents had already come to pick me up like early in the day, so like so people saw my friends already knew like I was leaving because like teachers already come like oh, come get me. I took some pictures of my friends and whatnot, and then as I get back to the hostel, to go pick up my bags. The buildings are locked. But then one of the teachers came with me came with me to escort me to go get my stuff. And the reason why the buildings were locked was because the housemaster said as he came to unlock as people were outside, and he said, as you enter, just go and lie down on the floor. I don't remember exactly what had happened, but like, it was about to be like mass punishment. Last why people were going to get flogged.
Wow.
And me, I just entered the place, carrying my bag. Everybody's lying down. Everyone's looking at me. I'm like, peace. Like,
Bye.
see ya. Like, and it's so funny because like my building was one of the last ones in like yellow house. It was a yellow house, so it's like one of the last ones in yellow house. So you hear them from the first one. On like
Oh my god.
you just keep like screaming
Oh.
and shouting, crying, and I'm just like, carrying my bag, just leaving. Like, nah, it was one of the funniest things that's happened from my perspective. For them, it wasn't so funny,
For them,
but
it wasn't funny.
it wasn't so funny. But like for me, it
Yeah.
was like, wow, see how God just used Canada to save me from getting flogged. And like it's so funny because like I actually remember that whole term. It was I don't know what had happened, but like so because during exam period, usually we take out your notes from your lockers, put it into Ghana must go bags, and put it in another classroom, like an empty classroom everyone's using. But after that first term exam, like I don't know who or what entered somebody to do this, but somebody went into that classroom and destroyed a bunch of people's notes. So I remember like I went to find my bag and I found my notes were all torn up and like the entire first term. Oh, and I know third term exam is summative of first term, second term, and third term.
Entertainment.
So I was like, man, God just saved me this term because I was like, man, I wasn't bothered. I was like, I'm gone anyways. So yeah,
Oh wow, amazing. So from
yeah.
there you and your family just moved to Canada and like
Yeah, yeah.
just
Moved to
settled
Canada like
basically
in the middle of December.
in the
Came in right
middle of
in the
December.
yeah. I as much as I was beefing my dad at the time because he carried us from plus 20 to minus 20. I I think it was fantastic for us. It was great for us because we saw the worst of it, and then when summer
Yeah.
came, it was like
It was
okay,
like, okay,
is
yeah.
so that's why for
Okay.
me like at this point now, whenever my parents say something or I trust the advice because I feel okay they have a reason for what they're doing. So trust it to a degree,
They kind of know what
because
they're doing.
yeah,
Imagine.
yeah,
Oh, amazing. Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with school here? Because you moved literally from the middle of a or towards the end of a term or semester
yeah,
in senior secondary school, and you. So how was it to be reintegrated into the educational system here and all that?
yeah. It was kind of adventurous, kind of interesting. So back home I was in SS1, which is grade 9 here, like based on
Okay.
like which should be grade 9. So not grade 9, sorry, grade 10. SS1 would be grade 10 because high school is done grade 12, SS3. Yeah, grade 10 would be SS1.
Hmm.
And so I was in technical class, which was like for engineers, architects, and like people who would need more technical skills, quote unquote,
Oh, like in
because
grade 10?
yeah. So like
Mm.
we would be because like back in Nigeria it was either you're in technical class, at least in Faith Academy, it was either technical class or science class, um, commerce or arts.
Oh, wait, wait. So Faith Academy had four instead of the usual science, art, commercial?
Yeah, so we had four. Yeah,
Mm,
so we
okay.
had technical science, commerce, and arts. And obviously, kids being kids, we would rank each other on how smart you are based on what class
Yeah,
you were in.
yeah.
And it was in that exact order of technical, science, commerce, and arts.
Yep.
But the funny thing about that is that so technical class was for engineers and architects and like people who were doing more technical stuff. Science was for like doctors and like
Mm,
pharmacists and people were going to like that kind of stream. Commerce
mm-hmm.
obviously that's accounting,
Yeah.
business and whatnot. And then arts was lawyers and like artists and like all those like this kind of classes. But obviously with kids, we don't see it that way. We see it as arts are the ones that let's say God could have given them more intelligence. People like people actually used to get bullied based on what class they were
What
in.
class they were in? Oh boy.
Which is like it's just because now it's like when you look back at it and it's like low key did not make any sense because like
Yeah.
we were all like brilliant. Like everyone like a lot of people that were in those classes were all brilliant. It's just like
Mhm.
it just happens to be like you're brilliant in a different way from somebody else. Like
Yeah.
one person is more akin to like doing math and like stuff like that. One person is more akin to like writing essays and things. Like obviously there's some classes that all of us took because
Hmm.
we had to all take those classes. But then there's
Yeah.
some other
Like
classes that were
biology.
like, yeah, oh man, but biology in Nigeria versus biology here, man, those are
Oh,
two
wait. Which
different.
is which is which is are harder?
Biology in Nigeria is harder by far. Like I
Okay.
remember, I know this because I remember like SS1 first term. Part of the exam, they said draw and label an amoeba.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
they'll say draw and label a frog. Like and it's not just old eyes. Like label the intestines. Like and they
Yeah,
will
yeah,
mark you
yeah,
based on like if you're not put in the right location. God help you.
yep. And you can't just label it anyhow. It has to be all towards straight lines pointing to
Straight
the
lines to
right.
the right.
Like you can't just be pointing
Straight
up, left,
like
right, down. Like it has to
it
be,
has to be on the right. Like
and it has to be
man,
neatly done, well
yeah.
spaced. Like, oh geez.
God
Yep.
God help you if your handwriting was like chicken scratch.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Like
Oh,
yeah, no,
interesting.
like
Okay. So you
and
transferred to like technical class here?
so going from that coming here, I mean, like, so I have two siblings, a younger brother and a younger sister. Um, my parents wanted us to go to a Christian school because, like, obviously being Christians, they wanted us to go to a Christian school. Um,
Mm,
Initially, the school we were looking at was Calgary Christian, but Calgary Christian only had room for me, but it had room for my siblings. So, so when I moved out, I got into grade 10, which had been the equivalent here. But then my parents wanted all three of us in the same school, especially when we were moving to a new country and then like just to make it easier for like transition wise. So I ended up going to Mendes Simons, which was only up to grade 9, but they had room for all three of us. So I got dropped back a grade coming
so
here.
like what was it like like mingling in with the kids in school and kind of settling for yourself and then moving into university, and like how was all that?
Um, like I think at the time it was very interesting just because coming to like I remember like when we moved for the first couple of months I wouldn't talk in class, like I wouldn't talk just because like I was so very aware of how heavy my Nigerian accent was. Like
Hmm.
I like now my Nigerian accent has been very Canadianized. Like even like going back home I try to talk Nigerian like all my friends like my cousins would be like don't worry,
My
but
friend,
like
will you
they,
stop
they
it?
can they can tell, they can
Yeah.
tell, but then like but back then it was like I heard recordings of myself from like when we just before we moved and I was like yeah it was very
You
heavy,
were a
so
Nigerian man.
exactly, so I was like I was very hesitant to like to speak just because of how how aware I was of my accent. So like that was a bit of a struggle. And then like it's so funny because so when I came, it was just before the basketball season started. Me, I've played basketball maybe all of 2 or 3 times before coming here. But obviously, being a taller black figure, it was kind of expected that I'd be good. And I showed up. I made the team without even trying out. But
Oh
obviously,
Lord.
it was also a smaller school, so like, we didn't have a lot of
Right.
options. Like I think my entire graduating class from middle school was like maybe 20 people. It was
Mm-hmm.
like 10 guys, 10 girls, and we had like 2 people join like halfway through the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the team and I showed up to the first practice. I didn't even know how to do a layup. Yeah, it was it was quite a shock for the coaches and the players. They're like, "What?" but but yeah, like I said, like for the longest time, I didn't speak really just because um, I was very self conscious of my accent being heavy there. But eventually got to know people, got a little bit more comfortable, started talking. Um, and like I think that the benefit of moving at a younger age was able to pick up the accent like a lot easier, and it's to the point where it's like I can bounce between both like very easily, um, which is good because like I find like with the older like your parents and whatnot, like it's not as easy for them to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was quite the experience, and like and it was, I like looking back eventually. Is there like when you're older, you now start to look back, you like start to notice, like, feel like microaggressions that like that you face, but you weren't actually aware of it at the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then like and like to be fair, like a lot of people that a lot of it was for my kids, but I think like at the same time, like they also didn't know what it was that they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just so, like this is what society says, and like this is what it's okay, you know. So like for us, it's like okay, it's not now going back and like, okay, now we have to like start addressing those things and
Yeah.
like starting to like um mention like when y'all did this, it was not okay,
Mm-hmm.
like because in the moment like sometimes like so some things you have to just laugh it off just to be able to fit in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like in the school where I was like the only there were 2 black boys in the entire school, me and my brother, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then going to high school where like there was like we had 5 black people on the basketball team for the first time when I was in grade 12. You know, like I was just about to graduate, and 2 of those people were me and my brother again.
Oh.
You know,
Did you get better at least?
oh yeah, I got a lot better, got a lot better. Yeah, no,
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely got a lot better to the point where like um yeah, I think I had the first in-game dunk in my school's history. So I'm,
In the history of the school.
at least that's what I believe.
Oh,
But
that's what
yeah,
you.
yeah, because like because it's something because like I think from grade because I'd be able to jump since like when I was in Nigeria. Mostly, it's so funny because it was when I moved to Canada I realized this thing was all the punishment they used to give us in Nigeria, like ride Okada, pick pin,
Frog jump.
all those things. Like
Yes.
that's what people are doing here as exercise. You know, like it was like basketball practice. Said, oh, we're doing wall sits. And me, I saw they say wall. They say I don't know what that is. I saw it just brought PTSD to boarding school. They say ride Okada,
Oh yes, right,
and like
Okada. Yes.
just sit down.
And
I
your
was
legs
like,
be shaky. Your
you
hands be
know,
shaky.
and then like I said when they said that they said oh yeah planks. I said I don't know what that one is. This I said this is a gamma now. It's like,
Oh.
like, like you know, like all those things that people are doing them as exercise here, but like for us back when that was punishment.
That was
Like boarding
punishment.
school, you're doing that on a
Yes.
daily basis almost.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's
know, so
true.
like so
Actually,
coming here, I was able to jump. Like I was
you're.
like I think I was touching the rim like in grade 9. So like grade 10, like so like literally every lunch, I'm literally just trying to dunk the ball and whatnot. And like
Mm,
so when I moved to Calgary Christian, a couple of teachers they put up money. They said the first person to dunk in a game will give in $10, and for every year it doesn't happen, they'll add another $10. Yeah,
oh.
so and then it was so grade 12 at provincials. The video is on YouTube as well.
Oh wow,
I
really?
had yeah, and it was so cool because my brother was the one who actually passed the ball to me for that dunk. So it was like it's kind of like a nice, like a cool
Oh,
moment. At least after it
yeah.
happened, I was as soon as it happened, I was like, Coach, take me out. I'm done. I'm good.
I did what
I'm
I
like,
had to do, and now I'm done.
exactly, exactly.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. So like you talked a little bit about how from nursery school you're already in the band. Like how did
hmm
all of that translate when you moved to Canada, and how did you kind of pick that back up? Were you doing music as well in school or in high school or grade, I don't know, middle school and high school or university? Like how did all that play out to you becoming like this amazing freaking music artist?
Um. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Oh,
But
you're welcome. You're welcome. I like to give flowers when due.
yeah, like what I'm trying to learn to do is to actually accept it
Yeah.
because it's like I find like it's hard to accept. It's hard to like walk that line of being humble and accepting flowers when
And
it's due.
owning what you've done.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. But to answer your question, yeah, one thing my parents have always done is to encourage us and like to pursue things that we are interested in. Like my brother my brother was very good with drawing, so my parents always encouraged him to draw and things like that. Like he was very good at soccer. It's like they encouraged him to play soccer. My dad wanted me to focus on playing basketball and volleyball because I was taller at the time. But me, I enjoyed playing soccer and being a goalkeeper. And my dad was like,
Yeah.
no, use your heights, play basketball.
Right.
Like he bought a basketball hoop for us when we were in Nigeria.
Mm.
Even like with the sax and whatnot, like when it's because I started playing this, I learned the sax in primary six, and we learned two scales, and they taught us to play "Shout to the Lord." That was the only song they taught us at that
Mm.
time, and we did it for the school concert. And it's so funny because my mom recorded it, and my dad still has the video footage somewhere. This was in
Mm.
2006 or 2007,
Wow.
and like my dad saw that video, he went out and bought me a saxophone because like the sax I was using that
Oh.
time was from the school, right?
Yeah.
But he went out and bought a saxophone for me. I think he actually bought two. He bought an alto and a curved soprano, and so
Oh, they're
that's
different
where
types. Amazing.
yeah. So like so I took that to boarding school. So I was playing that in boarding school. So for as like
Oh.
I said like from nursery school, primary school, I was always playing keyboard and drums in band. But then in boarding school from JS1 to SS1, I was playing sax. Um, for and like honestly, this is a side note. If you ever want to be fantastic at any instrument in life, go and learn in a Nigerian church in Nigeria where they have worship leaders that don't know how to sing in the same key for more than one song. Because you will learn new skills by fire by force on the
My
spot.
fire, my force, because you have to improvise. You have to go with them where they're going.
Wherever they go.
You
Carry me,
gotta
they
go.
go.
Yeah.
Follow them wherever they're going. And like
Yeah.
it was great because like I learned a lot of things from those scenarios. So coming
Mm.
to Canada, um, I wasn't playing sax at school just because back in Nigeria we do a lot of music by ear. We learn like you learn music theory like stops and like clefs and notes and whatnot. But like you're not nobody's giving you like you're not really give unless you're going to the Muson Center to go learn. They're not really giving you sheet music to be like read this and play.
Yeah.
But like here that's how they do it. Like so coming here I was like I couldn't really play sax in a band, but I ended up playing percussion and playing drums. So I played drums for the worship band. I played drums um, for band as well. To the point where it's like one of the other Nigerian families in our school then they did a drummer for the church, so she asked me to come play at the church, and like she would come pick me up from my house to drive me to the church and then drive me back at home. Like,
Wow.
that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I was just for drums, and then my dad um, got me. I think my dad somehow got me in contact. Because the reason my dad is like whenever we travel. Like, and this is like when we're back in Nigeria. Whenever we travel to the UK or the US, he would always connect with at least a church in the place where we're going, and
Mm-hmm.
like so because like he has a ministry where they raise funds for missionaries in Nigeria and like support missionary
Mm.
families.
Okay.
It's called Praise of His Glory Ministries. Like so they go like they fundraise, go to different churches, and so he always goes to find churches where he would like go like connect with a pastor there. And after he found out I played the sax, he would carry me along with him and say, "We're going to."
Mm.
So when we moved here, he connected with Redeemed House of Praise for
Okay.
the I think it was for the crossover service. Then
Mm-hmm.
he introduced me. He's like, "Hey, this is my son. He plays saxophone." And so from there, and it's funny because like since then I've been playing at the crossover services like pretty much every year since
Oh my
then, and like
goodness.
even to the point
Wow.
like now I play there once a month at least, um, and then I play
Mm-hmm.
like their like Shabak, like their annual concert and whatnot. So
Mm.
like, um, so yeah, so that
That's
like
a long-term relationship.
yeah, like very long, very
Very,
long
very
term,
long term. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And like so I play there. I got in contact playing there. So I ended up exploring playing at I played at a church, and then my home church, Brentby Baptist Church. I started playing drums there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then going to high school, I played. I mostly playing drums for the again band, jazz band, and worship band. Um, didn't really play sax a lot at school, just same reason because the music that we're playing was not what I really enjoyed playing on the sax. And like I did not want to be reading sheet music for sax. Like that was just not going to be happening, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it was interesting because like being in those spaces, like I got to explore and learn new styles,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I love doing. Like I enjoy being in like challenging environments where I get to um, explore something that I'm not used to. You know,
Yeah.
like some some things I've even gotten to do in terms of DJing. Like I DJ'd I think it was Pakistani and Indian wedding
Mm.
once. I do not know any of the music, but I got to explore and learn like new cultures and new music, and like, it
Mm-hmm.
was a challenge to like learn how to mix that kind of music, you know, because
Yeah.
like sometimes it's like very easy, straightforward 4/4. You can mix it easy, no problem. But then sometimes it's like you have to find the right pockets. And being that I don't understand the language as well, is
Mm-hmm.
like you have to go off the crowd's reaction and see, okay,
Right.
they've enjoyed the song up to this point, so now is the time. Okay, they want to go to the next
Yeah.
song.
Switch it. Yeah.
Like yeah, it's. I think like it was because like up until now, I think I've still spent more time in Nigeria than I have in Canada in my entire over
Okay.
my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But having that balance of like both being in Nigeria and being in Canada has definitely helped shape my music a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
like and I feel like it's also being that the fact that when we came to Canada, we weren't going to a Nigerian church or we weren't going to um, like NCAC a lot then. So I
Mm-hmm.
got intermingled with a lot more like the Caucasian crowd and Caucasian circles. So I got exposed to that kind of music in that sense. I think that definitely played a role in the way my music has gone.
So Slim, in university, like, cause did you go into university to study music, or did you like choose to study something else while also still pursuing music? Like, how did and like how has because you talk a lot about how your father was he got you a sax, recorded you before, like that's awesome, man. So like, how
Yeah,
did like your the support from your parents? How does it like play into like your practice even up till now?
yeah. So my going to university. I think I started music production in grade 10. One of my best friends, Hammond, he goes by the Blue. He's a rapper. We would we would I would make beats. He would rap. Like we would. like I tried to rap at some points, and if you search hard enough, you might find some of those tracks online. I'm not gonna
Oh,
say
okay.
where they are because
YouTube, I'm sure.
I am not disclosing where
You
they
will not.
are,
You will
but
not confirm or deny.
I just not, yeah. If you find them, fantastic. But
Oh,
yeah, no, I dabbled in rapping here and there, but I do a lot more production stuff. Um,
and like
and then
DJing, right?
funny enough, I did not start DJing until like second year of university. So like
Oh, interesting.
yeah, so like going to university, I I was doing mostly focused on production. Like, I remember like on first year, we would go to like these house parties on campus. Like, but me, I'm the kind of person that's like I enjoy partying when I'm behind. So like I would take my phone. I had a lot of music downloaded. I would plug in my aux. I would be playing music. I remember there was one party I was playing music at. Like everyone was jumping to the point like you could feel the floor like shaking. And it was like the floor was about to give way. You know, like
Right.
someone came up to me and was like, "Yo, you should be a DJ," and I was like, "Nah, never happening." 1 year later, that's oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
that.
let's try this out.
And then like started going to the whole DJing thing, and like it's like since I started DJing and I got my first gig in like a month of
Hmm.
DJing. Like, 'cause, like but things like I mean when I started DJing, I would go like I was just I'll go to class, come back, and like I'm on the DJ set. Like my roommates, like at the time, like they knew about it because like I have my speakers out, my DJ set was already ready to go. Go to class,
Hmm.
come back, plug in 2 hours, just mixing, just practicing, like trying out different things, watching YouTube videos, um, and like just trying out new like different things. Like at the time, were they the best mixes? Probably not, but like
Probably not.
for a month, I was doing pretty well, and then like
Hmm.
I got to connect with the DJ club on campus, and I was like, hey, I started DJing. I would love to come play one of the events, and it was like, okay, come through. Let's see what we can do, and then
Hmm.
so I met up with him. One of the guys, shout out Bo, Bo and Cena, man. Those are the guys that really got slim time on campus. So like
Oh.
I met up with them, DJed for an hour, and like I remember Bo was like, "How long have you been DJing for again?" I was like, "A month," and he was like, "Nah, I don't believe you." And I was like,
Oh.
"Okay, we have our toga party next year. I'm sorry, not next year, next week. So what if you love, you come do a 30-minute set on that?" I was like, "For sure." Um, so I went and did that 30-minute set, and like, man, from there it's kind of just like went off because then I started DJing for the African Caribbean Club on campus. Um, I remember that like literally within like about this was November. Um, we usually have our end of year concert in April,
Hmm.
and so they had a DJ contest for that, and it was gonna be and like so it was the DJ contest was like whoever won it will get to have an opening spot at the end of your concert. And I think that at the time it was supposed to be Tyga and I don't remember who the DJ was. It was yeah, it was Tyga and Dioro.
Hmm.
Dioro's a EDM artist. He did 5 More Hours with Chris Brown. I don't know if you know that song.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
I think so.
yeah, but it was pretty big at the time. But yeah, it was supposed to be
Hmm.
Tyga and Dioro as the headlining acts for that concert. And then there's a lot of drama with the competition because it was me and another guy in the final, and it was clear who the winner was, but they called it a draw, and instead we both split the time. I was like, hey, it is what it is.
Better than nothing, I guess.
I won't say that it was because of anything, but
Yeah, but you're a black man. That's it.
we, I
Yeah.
being in a very white town is like,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. And then so I got to open, but then I think Tiger ended up double booking in Dubai, so we ended up getting Omarion instead.
Oh.
So I got to open for Omarion and Dioro. Like this was within like again like 6 months of DJing. Um, and then going in, fast forward like later in the year, we had Ty Dolla Sign coming for our Frosh concert. Got to open for that as well, and like it's just been like one thing up after another. Like just been like snowballing since I started DJing. But then obviously with Nigerian parents, I wasn't in school for music. I would have loved to be in school for music. I was initially supposed to go for engineering, but I didn't get in for engineering. I got in for science. Um, I was initially thinking about because first year we don't really declare a major. We kind of everyone kind of takes the same like classes. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe I was going to go into chemistry or environmental science. I can go into like into geology or something along those lines. Because like at that time, like my focus was like oil and gas, and like because my dad's an oil and gas engineer, so I was like following dad's
Mhm.
footsteps. You know, go work for Shell or
Yeah.
something along those lines. But I didn't enjoy any of those classes. I took a computer science class. Um, I did not do so great in the class, but like I was like, you know what? I actually enjoyed the class. Like I enjoyed
Mhm.
what I was doing, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna major in this. So I majored in computer science while still DJing and doing music on the side. So I was still producing, putting out beats. I put out a couple of like EPs and singles. Um, my parents would have preferred me to focus on school. Um, but like for me, it was like it was always music or nothing. Like music was always gonna happen. Um,
Mhm.
they didn't. I would like to think they didn't know I was DJing at the time. They probably knew. They just didn't say anything.
Mhm.
Um, so I was like DJing while in school. Um, my parents still talk about it. The fact that it's like you should only do music in church. Like yeah, yeah,
For the
you're
Lord
a
only.
minister, that kind of thing. But like
Yeah.
I, I love doing music in church. Like I love like the most fun that I have is playing in church. Even like DJ, like my favorite sets are like DJing in church. Because like that's where like all the old throwbacks like Shackles, like Mary
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
Kirk Franklin, those kind of songs. Like I get to play those, and like I'm not, I'm enjoying myself in those scenarios. But I feel like personally, I feel like there's a space where I'm called as well outside of the church, whereas like being in those spaces where Christians aren't necessarily there,
Mhm.
because sometimes it's a thing of pride of like, oh, I don't go to club, and it's like, but it's like, but I think like being in the club, especially like in the capacity that I'm there and in those events, I get to have conversations with people that they might not necessarily have because like for me,
Mhm.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, or I don't do any drugs or anything like that. So like, and like being a DJ is like those are two very contradictory. Like
Yes.
it's like how are you a DJ but you
Yeah.
don't drink
But you
and
don't
all that.
drink and you're always
Like
out at night and your parties, what?
you
But you're a
know
Christian. How do you like yes, yes, I hear
exactly.
you.
So but I get to have conversations with other DJs and promoters as well too. Like I remember it's because sometimes I'm DJing like with a DJ and like okay like once it's like 1:50 and like if I'm not doing the last set, I start
Mhm.
packing up. They're like, oh, why come, how come you're leaving already? I'm like I gotta go home, I gotta be up, I'm playing in church tomorrow morning. They're like,
Mhm.
how are you?
What?
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and that starts a conversation. I gotta have a conversation with people, like some people who haven't been to church in like years, and
Mhm.
like how come you haven't been, and they're like, oh, how did you how are you able to balance it like this? I remember I had a conversation with somebody and they were like, they don't feel comfortable like being in the club drinking and then going to the church the next day. And I understand where that comes from, but at the same time too, like the Bible also talks about like come as you are, like the way you are, like and the thing is, and I feel like
Yeah.
people take that come as you are to a whole different extreme of like I'll do whatever I want to do and I'll still come to church and do come as I am.
Yeah.
But then the
No,
thing
that's
of
not
if you
what it
come as
means.
you are is like if if your if your thing is that every Saturday you're drinking in the club and blah blah blah, nah, Jesus wants you to come still
Mhm.
as the way you are, and then the change starts to happen over time.
Yeah.
right? It's not a thing of like you go to church one day, all of a sudden like I'm saved, I'm
I'm
free, blah
still
blah
no,
blah.
I'm
Like
yeah. There's no need for pretense. Like you can
exactly.
literally be a mess and come to Jesus and be like, "Yo, bro, I need help."
It's,
Like,
and that's the thing about it.
yeah.
But a lot of the time, people don't realize they need that until they have that conversation one time. And like, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that I'm going there. I'm going to win souls and talk to Jesus, preach. No, it's
Yeah.
literally just sometimes it's just like like your personality, the way you are, just the way you just relate to people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like even just like that same thing of like, oh, someone comes to buy you a drink, like, hey, I bought you a shot, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I don't drink. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
really? Like, how come you don't drink? It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
just never drank, and being a Christian, and all that stuff. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. But then like in that moment, it might not have had like that whole effect of like, oh, come to church with me type
Mm-hmm.
of thing. But for them, it might, because like I've had reactions from people that have been like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I wish I could do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like because there are people that are genuinely hurting that out
Oh
there,
yes.
the only reason why they're in the club is because like they want to escape from everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just being in that space. I mean, we have those conversations with like not just like people who are coming to the club, but also like DJs and promoters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to stir up something in people, whereas like okay, and the other cool thing about it is like there are people that follow me because they see me in the club and whatnot. But then like I'm like, okay, I'm DJing at the church, this space, I have a concert, come check it out. And
Yeah.
they'll come to the concert because they see, oh, Slim Time is DJing.
Is
It's like,
there? Yeah.
and then like,
Yeah.
next thing you know, people who are like you see going to the club now, they're coming to church, you know, for
Yeah.
a concert because they've
Yeah.
seen like, okay, this is this person or whatnot.
You can
But
do
then
both. There's an
yeah,
example that you can do both. Like it doesn't have to define who you are as a human
yeah,
being
exactly.
because you're yeah.
And the good thing, I think about it is it's again it's all about calling, like because
Mhm.
there are people that their calling is only church, and like
Mhm.
that's fantastic. But there are
Yep.
people that their calling is okay, go into those spaces that people don't normally see Christians being represented or being
Mhm.
present, and like reach out to those people and
Mhm.
get those people into the church, you
Right.
know. And
Yeah.
like I think our generation is very lucky, very blessed because kind of have the and we kind of in that middle space where like we're seeing both sides, you know, because
Mhm.
like I find like a lot of time like the church tries to be very um separational. Is that that's a
Like
word?
segregated in a
Yeah,
way.
exactly. Yeah, they gotta be
Yeah.
like it's like oh yeah, I can only be in church and like all that, and it's really cool because like there's this church in Vancouver, Love
Mhm.
Quest,
Mhm.
their pastor Terrence Richmond, he is a perfect example of like of what I'm of what I believe. Bless you. I believe like a lot of the church
Thanks.
should be should exemplify because so he's a pastor from I think he was in LA and then he
Mhm.
moved to Vancouver, but he's also a rapper, which is
Mm.
like that's so cool.
Yeah.
But
That's dope.
funny enough, I met him like when I was DJing in university. The church I was going to, they had asked me to come DJ
Mhm.
because they knew I was DJing. I was playing in the band in university at the
Yep.
church, and it's like, okay, come DJ. We have this someone coming to play. He wants gospel music and he wants to DJ and hip hop and whatnot. So I was like, for sure, I'll come. So I connected with him there,
Mhm.
and it's so cool because like his all his music is gospel. It's all gospel rap. Like
Mhm.
he's not rapping about like drugs and shooting. Like it's literally all gospel rap.
Mhm.
But he goes into like clubs and goes into like uses their venues
Mhm.
to promote the gospel,
Yeah.
which is
His
very
content
cool.
doesn't change and
His comments it doesn't change, but
but he
like
finds himself in those spaces
you
and
know like because like
awesome.
so because in Kelowna, like the church I was going to, like the house, like they have some of the best sound systems. Like their sound systems are better than some of the clubs in town. Like like because like they like their visuals or man, if I show you some of the pictures from this church, like you're like, is this a concert or a church? Like, but
Yeah.
I was so good because like I think that's what attracted a lot of younger people to the church because a lot of university
Mhm.
students went there. Um,
Mhm.
So that was the first way I met him. But then like um years later, when I talked to him again, he was like, okay, what are some spaces that we can use? Like, which clubs can we use for this concert? And I was like, that's very interesting. Like, it's really cool because like, because I remember like a couple years back, I went to Vancouver to play at one of the concerts they were doing, right? And they used I don't remember the name of the club. I think it was Fortune, but it was like
Mm-hmm.
one of the big clubs in Vancouver.
Right.
And what was really cool about it was that it wasn't just people from the church that came. There are people who are randomly just walking past. They're like, oh, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on here? And they come in
Yep. Yep.
and they get to see and experience God without knowing what they're experiencing yet. But then now they're
Mm-hmm.
curious,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
the fact is like a lot like with our generation, no, like a lot of people don't like being like, oh, Jesus,
They
open
don't
the
like to be
Bible.
preached
They
to,
don't want
or
to be
they don't
preached
like
to
to prove.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want to have like, but and I think a lot of the time it's just something that sparks a conversation, something
Mm-hmm.
that's just like, oh, you do this, like what is that about? Or
Yeah.
like, oh, you don't do this, what's that about? And all of a sudden now you
Right.
have a conversation talking to somebody like, so it's like, oh, this is what I do, this is all that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
actually I'm playing in church on Sunday, I think you might enjoy it. Or
Yeah.
oh, there's a church concert this Saturday or this Friday night, I think you might enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
come through. Like
Come
no pressure, it's
through.
like no pressure, like like these are
Just
the
make the
details.
offer. Yeah.
Exactly. Like sometimes just that curiosity a lot of the time is like, okay, now all of a sudden now you have somebody that is um now they want to know more, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
Slim, how do you navigate, you know, the creative space here in Calgary? Because as much as, diversity is growing and there are people from like, all sorts of, black and there's a people of color population here. How do you navigate? It's still predominantly a white city. So how
Yeah.
do you navigate creating and finding spaces to just, make music, like figure
Yeah.
out collaborations? Like how do you navigate all of that as
Yeah,
a
no,
black man, as a black
that's
immigrant man?
yeah, that's a very good question because like I'm still figuring it out right now.
Mm, okay.
Um Being that I've really only been doing music in Calgary like on this scale
Mm,
since after the pandemic, you know.
mm,
Um Shout out to Icarus Sound, Femi, and Blaze, and D-Max, Motives by Rippy, Rib, Chimsy, Fred.
ooh,
Um, there's a lot of Nigerian promoters like Matthias, like
mm,
Toye, Koje. There's a lot of Nigerian promoters and DJs and MCs doing their thing in Calgary. You know,
wow.
like, and those guys have definitely been very instrumental into like pushing that Slim Time brand because like
Yeah.
especially like Femi was really Femi was a Femi's event like Icarus Sound was the first event that I did in Calgary that everyone was like, who is that guy, like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Blaze put me on Hangover like that first year as well. um like, and it's been interesting because like I've mostly been in the Nigerian community,
Mm,
um for the most part. But I think um, it's interesting because the like both spaces are kind of separated.
mm,
Like in the African and Black community versus and like the white, Asian, Latino communities are kind of
mm-hmm.
separated.
Right.
And it's interesting because within Calgary, there's a lot of communities. Like there's a lot of communities within Calgary,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're still finding that a lot of these communities are separate. Even within the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
there's still separation. Um, and like trying to navigate that space is quite interesting because the fact is, numbers wise, the white people are like the Caucasian community is still
The
larger,
largest. Yeah.
right? So when it comes to doing events and doing parties and whatnot, if you want to get like a large number of people, that's the audience you need.
Mm-hmm.
But not up until recently with people like Rema and Burna Boy, who are like breaking those boundaries and getting like a lot of them like interacting with Afro beats?
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen a lot of them, like a lot of that interaction,
Yep.
right? So like within Calgary, is like the question, like what we're trying to do is like how can we get them to notice what's and see what's going on within the African community and be interested in partnering with us, not in terms of like, okay, come and sponsor our events, but actually
Mm-hmm.
come to our events, experience these events,
Mm-hmm.
right? Calgary Black Chambers is doing a fantastic job of that. Like they did the Black History Month event last year. Like my perspective, I was like, oh, I thought I was walking into a room of like all like black executives. Like nope, it was black people, white people, Indian, like every like
It was a
those.
good
It
mix.
was a very good mix of different people,
Mm-hmm.
but the important thing was like because going in like I was worried. I was like, okay, I was planning on doing Afro beats. I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna take it because I like,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, you know what, just do what you
Just
normally
do
do. What
it.
you do,
Yeah.
like like because at the end of the day, it is celebrating Black history, right? So
Yes.
like I went and
Exactly.
like and the reception I got, I was like, okay, like
Yeah.
I see this, like
Yeah.
and like for me, like shout out to my wife Antonia, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's like I'm not very business oriented, like I don't know anything about like she's more business oriented than I am, and like so she's
Mm-hmm.
been pushing to get into those spaces, the corporate spaces, a lot
Mm.
more, and it's quite interesting because like we do and just due to the biases that we have
Yep.
as black people because like and it's a defense mechanism because like, a lot of the time we face so much like microaggressions and racism and whatnot being in like white spaces, we almost like push ourselves out of those spaces. Like we don't even want to engage in
Mm.
those spaces,
Right.
like just because like oh I faced this X, Y, and Z in this space before, so I'm never
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to try and get into that space.
Right.
But I think I think especially since the whole like George Floyd, there's been a change, especially within Calgary. I've definitely noticed a change within Calgary. Um,
Mm.
there's still a ways to go, but there's
Oh
definitely a
yeah.
change.
Yep.
To the point where it's like now I think like as black artists we can definitely get into those white spaces and showcase
Mm.
our culture because like
Right.
now more than ever, a lot of people are more open and receptive. Again, like I said, with
Mm.
Rema and Burna Boy breaking those boundaries and like, doing what they're doing, a
Yeah.
lot of them like they already know about Afro beats. So now it's up to us who are like local to Calgary to like
Yeah.
start pushing those things. Get into those spaces. Like um, one thing like I've done since I started was DJing back in Kelowna was like usually if I'm playing a set, I'm playing hip hop or whatever, I'll always still throw at least one Davido or Whiskey in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to okay. And the thing about being a musician is a lot of the time, especially as a DJ, this is one thing I take to heart is that the crowd knows what they want, but they don't know what they actually want.
Right.
And it's not until you show them what they might actually be interested in that
Mm.
they would actually realize that wow, this is what I've been looking for.
Right.
Like it's funny because I played a conference not too long ago, and like I played a song, I played "Who's Your Guy," and
Mm-hmm.
then like this lady, I think she was like Filipino. She came up to me and she
Mm-hmm.
was like what's that song? Like I've heard it multiple times, but I just never knew what the song was, you know.
Yeah.
And like I played in like that kind of interaction is like okay, like now you get to experience a different new something that you've already known, but you didn't know what it actually
Mm.
was. Like
Right.
I remember like some years ago, I played in this club in Kelowna, and like it was predominantly white people that were there, and I was like,
Mm.
I'm tired of playing Miley Cyrus and like all the Britney Spears and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm gonna go to Afrobeats. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I played some I started playing some Afrobeats. They were vibing. I was surprised they were vibing with it. They did not know what the songs were, but they were
Yeah.
vibing with it.
Yeah.
The club owner came up to me and was like, "No, go back to the top 40 stuff. Like this
Oh.
is not what we
Okay.
do." I was like,
Okay.
"Okay." I went back and started playing it. One of the people in the crowd came up to me and was like, "No, go back to what you're playing before." Like
Right.
I was like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
those kind of things is like. so, but things like if they're not exposed to those things,
Mm-hmm.
they would never know. Like they
Right.
actually do enjoy it. So I think like I think for for me, like especially this year, like the goal is to try and get into those spaces, like a lot of corporate spaces. Obviously, still play the music that they know and they love and enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
but they're
Yeah.
also still showing them a new side of things.
Yes.
Because I think especially February, because February, like there's no excuse for you not to listen to Afro beats.
Yeah,
There's no excuse for you not to listen
exactly.
to Afro beats, But
Exactly.
it's it's something that we need to navigate in Calgary, especially as Black artists.
Of
Um,
course. Yeah.
like we can't keep ostracizing ourselves from these spaces because of
Mm-hmm.
the prejudice that we might face, or
Right.
because of the racism or microaggressions that we might come across,
Yeah.
right? Like for
Yeah.
one, we're locking ourselves out of so much money that we could be making, but
Mm-hmm.
then we're also denying people the opportunity to experience a culture and experience a new sound that they might not have thought they would experience before,
Yeah.
right? And things like if we're not pushing Afro beats and pushing not just Afro beats, but hip hop and R&B and like black
Mm-hmm.
music
Black
and black
music.
art in these
Yeah.
spaces,
Yeah.
nobody else is gonna do that,
Yeah.
right? And the fact is like as much as a lot of events that I've done, a lot of events I've played at is targeted towards the Nigerian and like black community,
Mm-hmm.
we're not saying that white people can't come to these events, or
Oh yeah.
Latino community can't come to these events, the Indian community can't come to these events, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about me as a DJ is like when I see like these other communities that are in there,
Mm-hmm.
I I play to those communities still. Like even
Yeah.
if it's like maybe like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like I would still play. Like if I see like a group of Indian guys walk in,
Mm-hmm.
trust me,
Mm-hmm.
like I have a crate that's just Indian music. I'm going in there
Okay.
and bringing out all the bangers. Like I can't
Amazing.
pronounce the names of the songs, but I know the bangers. I know the bangers that I know.
You know what sounds good.
Yeah, like Sidu Muswala, like that, like he would always go off with the Indian community, no matter what party it
Amazing.
is, you know, like
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
like those
So
kind of things.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's incredible because you're right. You're absolutely right. Like the we're here and we're not going to be kicked out of this country. Like
yeah,
we're here to stay. So like in spaces where whether intentionally or subconsciously they've kind of made it cold and unwelcoming, we still do need to like brave it and just go into those spaces and
yeah,
make our way and make space for ourselves and change the perspective and change the narrative and open them up to newer experiences, something that they may never have experienced before, and then you just kind of like you feel it change. You find a shift in the atmosphere. Like it doesn't like if people are initially like cold or whatever, like it changes. By the time they're listening to music, they're relaxed. They're like, oh, wait,
hmm,
no, this is
yeah,
great. Why? Where have you
exactly,
been? Wait, did you just start DJing? Like you start to kind of
yeah,
invite those interactions and invite the it's just a way of creating space for us in those bigger, more, Caucasian or whatever spaces within there. It's like carving our own space and like, well, we're all Canadians. we're here to stay. You're an
yeah,
immigrant from somewhere, so am I, right?
yeah,
Like the natives, the indigenous people own this land. Everybody else is an immigrant. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
So like we're here now. We're here now, and braving the initial abrasion to create in those spaces, to express and make art in those spaces, kind of
yeah,
opens people up to just be like, oh wait, no, that's awesome. Oh, why was I hesitant to accept it? Like it
yeah,
just becomes a thing where it's like, oh, okay, and then next time they may recommend you for another show, or they
exactly,
invite their friends. Wait, no, have you heard that Davido guy
yeah,
or the
exactly,
Burna Boy? Have you heard, like, and then that's how it grows, like, right? That's
yeah,
how cultural infusion and the beauty of diversity kind of amplifies itself. So a
yeah,
100,000% I hear what you're saying. So let's talk about your music, like the ones you've released. Would you
yeah.
like to just talk us through your Spotify playlist, put your Spotify releases that you've done? I
Yeah,
see an album. There's About Time that you did. You got a single there named Peace. You have 2024. Like, talk us through it. Talk us through it, because you're a verified artist on Spotify. Like, let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, my Spotify is kind of a very interesting space. Because I'm there's a lot of like experimental stuff on there as well, like things I'll just like let
Mm.
me try this out, like see how it works out. But yeah, I think since it was so about Time came out in 2021.
2021.
Yes,
Look
that
at
was the year I
you. You were
first.
about to say 2022.
Yeah, I was about to say because I was trying to do the math because I was like we're 2024, but I'm 27. But it came out in 2020, like it came out when I was 25. So I
Right.
was trying to do a lot of math there. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
but 2021, that's when
Yeah.
that's when About Time came out. So 20 About Time was 2021.
Hmm.
24 was 2020. Um, and then I think before that was XXIII, which was 23,
Hmm.
and that was 2019. And 2018 was Journeys.
Yeah. There's like, it goes all the way back to like 2017. Black and White, Unfollow, Summer. Like, talk us through your catalog just real briefly.
Yeah. So 2017 Black and White, that was featuring Amber Bayani. Um, that was that was the first song that I put out on Spotify or any streaming platforms. Um, that was it was this so I think that was a track that actually came out of a school project.
Mm.
Because I took a class that it was a class that was on digital art. So that was like to Photoshop, and then but one of the projects that we had to do was we are given a mythical like a say not literal like a fictional band, and we're told that this is their name, this is the song, the style of music they do. Make an album art um, for that band. So I did the
Hmm.
album art, and then like the next part of the project was create a sound of what they might of what you think they would make.
Wait, wait,
So
wait. Was this in computer science class?
yeah, so it was one of the electives I could take. It was an
Oh, one
arts
of the
class, but digital
electives.
arts. Yeah. So
Oh,
if you have
digital
computer
arts.
science, like
Okay.
yeah, one of the things about computer science I really enjoyed was like we didn't have a lot of like core classes. We had a certain number of like computer science classes we had to take, but we had a lot more electives that we could take. So I
Mm.
got to take like
Okay.
a lot of classes. I took an indigenous arts class. Um, and like it took like
Yeah.
this digital arts class was like it was so much fun. I got to play in
Oh,
Photoshop,
amazing.
even like do some animation stuff. But yeah, so like this track, I made the beat for that, and then I was like, oh, we could definitely do something with this. And then I invited
Mm.
Amber over to my place, and they were like, so she wrote to this like she wrote I think I had the chorus. Um, I don't remember who wrote the chorus, so but we were working together. But yeah, that's one of the songs where you get to hear me rap um, and sing with
Oh, now
autotune
we
because
know. Now we know.
yeah,
Now we know where
yeah,
to find your rapping.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it was I think it was good because it's still up. I haven't taken it down yet, but
Okay.
it was a pretty good track. I really enjoyed it. I'm honestly my eventually re-record it and do a remaster on it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it was the first one I put out, and then we have like Unfollow, and there's like a bunch of songs that are on there.
Yeah.
Unfollow, I think Beast or something. I don't remember, like, but all of those are just instrumentals.
Right.
So they're all beats that I put up on my beat store. And like at the
Mhm.
time, I was like, one thing that I came across was like, oh, if you put up your music, your beats on Spotify and Apple Music, you can put them into playlists and people can use them to study. But then also like artists may come across it and like go buy the beat from your store. So I was like, okay, it's like kind of marketing tactics and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I put it out, put them up for a little bit. Um, but then I stopped putting them out on there, so I just started keeping it on my beat store. And then I think after that, I put out Journeys. Journeys was the first EP that I put out.
Mm.
Journeys, I think it has 3 tracks, or is it
Yeah, it has
three?
three. It has three. Yes.
So, Chasing Waterfalls is on there. Story of
Yeah.
Life
Story of Life, Sunsets at
and
the
Sunset on the
Beach.
Beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with most all my so I produced all three of those tracks and recorded them. And one of my favorite songs I've ever made was Chasing Waterfalls,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to perform that again for the first time since leaving Kelowna in 2020, like earlier, like late last year,
Mm-hmm.
um, at Icarus Sound Jam Session. And that EP, if you listen to them, it's the production on those tracks. They all tell a story. So the story of life, if you listen to it, like it's literally a story of life, from like being born all the way to like death, even to the point of like I miss that kind of production I used to do, just because like
Mm-hmm.
everything about the production was very intentional. Like
Right.
even like because like the start of it is like very like bright and happy and like very light, and then as you go into this, there's a little section in it where it's just like dark and like mysterious, and it's like almost like,
That part is
whoa.
adulting. That's what that
Yeah,
part is.
that's exactly that part where it's like you don't know what's going on, you're confused, and eventually it
Yeah.
gets to the point where you figure it out, and it's back
Right.
to being like okay, happy, and like, and then it went to the point where it's like the way the track ends is like,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of songs end with a fade out or a hard cut, but this one ends with both. So it's like a fade out and then a hard cut. So it's kind of like almost like um getting older and getting old, and like it's like the time is coming
And then you
eventually.
just die. That's
Exactly.
a cut.
Exactly. So that's what I miss about that production. Like even like Chasing
Mm-hmm.
Waterfalls, it's it's literally a like I had a video. I've had this visual in my head for that song for so long, just never actually executed it because like for one, like I don't know how to do any video. Like I had
Oh,
this
I'm a
video.
direct. Well,
Where,
I'm a director. I'm a filmmaker now. Holla,
oh
let me
yeah,
know. Let me know.
you
We can
know,
make it happen.
like because like I've had this image of this song, like it's like classic. What's his name? It's not Tomb Raider, but the guy with the hat and the whip. I've forgotten his name, like
Indiana
explorer, Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
and it's like it's kind of like it kind of paints me like Indiana Jones esque, like going through
Mm-hmm.
like a jungle, like you're trying to find a waterfall,
Okay.
like like and it's like a certain part is like gets very dark, where like you're not sure,
Right.
okay, where we are, where are we going, and then
Mm-hmm.
the the climax of it, finding this beautiful waterfall. Like the image I have is from like Lion King when Timon and Pumbaa and Simba find the like when they show like I think it's after raising Hakuna Matata or something.
Mm-hmm.
They go into like the jungle scene and there's like the waterfall with all the colors,
Yeah.
and Simba's like, wow,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's the image I have. And like you can like even to like there's a shaker on there that's almost like sounds like a waterfall. Like that's the
Mm.
image that I have with that. And then
Oh,
Sunsets
awesome.
at the Beach is a little more relaxed, as like literally sounds like you're just sitting on the beach enjoying the
Sunsets
sunset.
at the beach.
That's actually what it is.
So,
Like
what about Time, which is like your most recent album? Because I firmly believe that uh as an artist, all your
mhm.
previous works impact and fuel the next.
Yeah,
So how would
big
you
time.
say, like, so how about Time, which is your most recent album, how would you say your all that you've done kind of accumulated into that work?
Yeah. So about time is so even the album name.
Mhm.
Shout out to Asita. He came up with that. Cause I put out a poll. I put out a question on Instagram. I was like, I don't want to call the album. What do you call it? He said about time,
Mhm.
and it was like it's a play on words. It was like about time,
Yeah.
like about time release an album, or
Yeah.
about time, like a story about me, about
Yeah,
Slim
like
Time.
Tyme, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, it was kind of like the whole story, the whole narrative of the album was just you feel a little bit insight into who I am and about how my mind
Mhm.
works.
Mhm.
Um, I always so if you look at the the album titles, like the
Mhm.
track list,
Yeah.
the first letter of the first four tracks spells Slim, and then so I am, and
Th-
then
there's O.
O, then that's like a space, and then the
Mhm.
next Tyme, the next
It's
four letters spell time.
Tyme.
So it's the
Oh.
track list spells Slim Time with that, but then and then
Oh.
the middle track is Odara. That's like it as well in Yoruba.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I chose that song because that's literally my life song. It's one of the songs that like when
Mm.
things are going south, that's my song I go to, and it's just
Yeah.
like a kind of like a reassurance song for me. Like it as well,
Yeah.
like
It is
no
well.
matter what's going on, it as well. Then the
Yeah.
last song, Toluwalugo,
Yeah.
that's my middle name, which translates to
Oh.
God be the glory. So
To
that's why
God be
that
the
song is
glory.
that's why I put that song. So like the whole album is literally about me. Um,
Wow.
like the even with the sounds and like the beats and everything, like each of
Mhm.
those tell a different story. Like one of the songs
Right.
I have on there, "Mirthful Mishaps."
Mhm.
It's the beat when I made that beat, it was like, man, this sounds like Burna. And like Burna is literally one of my favorite artists of all times. And funny
Mhm.
story about that. Turns out apparently I went to the same Sunday school as Burna in Port-Harcourt.
Oh
Like
wow.
yeah, so like but yeah, it's so
That's
funny.
so funny. Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of has that same feeling, that vibe. So that kind of like pertains to that part of my life when I was in Port-Harcourt and like kind of
Mm.
thing.
Wait,
And like
sir, hold on for a second, Slim Time. How did you go from Tioluwa logo to Slim Time, first of all? Like who dashed you that
so
name?
Slim Time, very funny, very funny story about Slim Time. Do you remember there was a phase in high school where everybody was like putting their names into rap name generators and stuff?
Maybe, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I got Slim Time.
Oh
I
wait, no, really? From a generator?
rap
Like
name
the rap
generator.
name generator?
I literally was literally one evening. I put my name into rap name generators, and it would give me a bunch of names. I went on Google, searched it up. If I found anything that was relatively close to it, I was like scrapped
Then
it.
you,
I
yeah.
was like, so I put in different variations of my name until I found one that was
Wait,
like, I like how this
please,
sounds.
because a lot of people do not actually know your name.
Yeah, people don't know my name. Like honestly, I like it that way. And it's so funny because people actually don't know my face. Like, so people don't know
Oh
my face,
really?
they don't know my name. They just know Slim Time. It's like
Slim
Slim Time
Time,
just exists
yeah,
on its own. Like,
yeah.
I love it that way, just because it's like I get to have like I get to go, like I get to go out and like last night I was at the Honey and Cocoa Cabaret.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that was such a fantastic show. Like, I hope
Mhm.
they do another one and people more people get to see it because
Mhm.
it was so good. Shout out to Misha and like Tayo and Tahila and like all the
Yeah.
singers.
Yeah.
Like they did fantastic. But like I actually I got to go there. Like, I sat down in the back and like watched the entire show. Like there's like, so many a couple people that I knew, and then like
Mhm.
um it's so funny because like I was in a space where like I just got to chill. Like I wasn't performing or
Yeah.
anything. I was just observing, like just enjoying the show. And
Yeah.
like I was talking to somebody afterwards just about the show, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a musician as well. And I'm like, oh, what's your name? I was like, oh, yeah, Slim Time. I was like, oh, I definitely know. I've heard of you. I was like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
it that way because it's like people have heard the name Slim Time, but it exists separate from like me
From
as well.
you,
Because
yeah.
like I guess to be out in public, I can do whatever I want to do. Like I'm not like people are like, oh, Slim Time, you
Yeah.
know,
Take
it's kind of
photos.
cool.
Can I have your autograph? Like,
You
oh my
know,
god.
like I like one day, I guess at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll stay at
Yeah, hell
home,
yeah.
but
Cause yeah, I mean, I'm just an observer, right? But I know I know people. I've told you this before. I know people who like if you're on the like list of performers like DJs for the evening, they'll be like, "Wait, is Slim Time performing yet? Okay, no, okay, I'll get there. Just let me know. Just let me know when. Let me know when. Like, I know people that will not show up until like you're performing. They may be in the building
wow,
or in the like, chilling out, hanging out, talking with friends, whatever, taking photos, all that stuff. But when Slim Time
wow.
is on, call me. I'll be there. Or I know friends that will not go to a party or an event if Slim Time is not performing. Is Slim Time
Wow.
there? No, no, sorry. Next time, just if you see Slim Time from, just call me. Like I literally know people like that in Calgary. So like
Wow,
you do such
that's
amazing work.
incredible.
And like I'm very very soon it will be the entire Canada, North America, UK.
Amen.
Like it can only go up from here, right? Like
Amen.
I
Yeah,
very very
honestly.
strongly believe that. So well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time today and for
Yes,
sharing
no worries.
so
No
much about your
worries.
story, so much about your work, your art, and I just really appreciate you.
Yes, no
um
worries. Like I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Um it's fun fact, this is my first ever podcast interview, so
Ooh,
it's something I've wanted to do for so long because I
yeah.
mean there's a lot goes on in my head I want to talk about still, but
Yeah,
like
I
it's
feel like we could absolutely have you again. Like we'll do
oh
a
for sure.
part two because I have a ton more
Let me
questions.
know.
Like,
Oh, for sure. Let me know. I would love to come back. I enjoyed being on here. It was great chatting with you.
oh,
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I think there's a lot of talent in Calgary, and
Yes.
it needs to be showcased, and
Mm,
like using a platform like yours, this it's incredible that you get to bring on people and thanks for having me and being able to give me this platform to be able to come out to
yeah.
share like sides of me that people might not know, but also like things that
Yeah.
people might also know, but they might not have realized. And begin to talk, like I haven't gotten to talk about like my album, like or like
Yes.
in that sense, like being able to
Right.
showcase that actually like, hey, there's some hidden stuff in the album too,
Yeah.
like this is it's an incredible platform. Like again, thank you so much for having me on here.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah.
So before you leave, I just a couple things. Leave us with a word of wisdom, a proverb, something that we can just take and digest and just, can help us with the rest of
Ooh.
our day.
Uh, okay. Okay. Um. This see see for me is like one thing I won't hide. I won't hide that I'm Christian anywhere I go,
Oh
and like
yes, of
for
course.
me, one thing that gets me through life is two verses. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have towards you, says the Lord. Plans
Mm-hmm.
of good and not of
That's
evil to give you an
good.
expected end.
Yes.
But then the verse that supplements that is Romans 8:28. Um, for it works all things for the good of
Yeah.
those
For
who
all
love
things work
him.
together for those who love God and are called
Yeah,
according to his purpose. Yeah.
exactly. And the thing I really love about those two verses together is the first verse guarantees you and gives you God's promise of he has a plan for you. And the second verse gives you that guarantee that even if you mess up, you make a mistake, God still he can still work it out for your good.
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
that coupled with it as well,
Mm-hmm.
just trust God, know that he has everything in control,
Yeah.
and yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for taking us to the word today,
Yes, sir. Always. Always.
Always. Yeah. Okay, so like just let people know where they can find you, find your body of work. Like are you yeah, just let the people know. Let the people know.
Yes. So, like I said, when I chose my name, I chose Slim Time for a reason. Because if you go on Google and just type Slim Time, at least a good 90% of the things that you find are me. So
Mm.
Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, wherever you stream your music, YouTube. I also stream on Twitch if you like games. Uh, I will be streaming some DJ sets on there as well. Uh, Speaking of Spotify, Apple Music, I have a project coming out just in time for Valentine's Day as well. So
Mm.
if you are single or you're in a relationship or married or wherever stage you are, there is a song for you on that project.
Okay.
Features like Calgary talent like Ebon, fantastic singer, lyricist.
Mm.
We have a lot of poetry on there doing a poem. Like, oh my gosh, I love that poem so much.
Ooh,
And
okay.
it's super like, so I actually got Ebon to sing her part of the song for my first dance at my wedding. And I had a lot of poetry. Like the end of the poem was played at my wedding as well.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm excited for
that's
this
awesome.
project. Um, yeah, so Spotify will be out just before Valentine's Day, so go check it out. Um, Instagram, Slim Time as well. My website, slimtimeproductions.com. And It's SLIMTYME, not SLYM, because I find like as everyone gets Slime Time, but Slim Time.
Oh,
Uh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Slim Time on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Um, uh, what else is it? YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all that. Yeah, man, yeah. I think that's.
That's it.
I don't even know. Like this, at this point,
Are you?
there's so much social media that like,
I
it's hard to keep
know. Are you
track.
on TikTok? Are you on Threads? Like, it's just new ones every day.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Slim Time, Threads as well. Even though Threads is not very, it's not very. I don't know. It's not very gingering at this point.
It's not
But
giving. It's not giving.
exactly. At this point, it's like any new social media, just hop on it first, just in case somebody,
Just to,
just in case
yeah.
somebody. So the last thing I want somebody, because like funny enough, there's another company called Slim Time as well, but they are I think it's a weight loss tea detox company or
Right,
something
right,
like
right,
that.
right, right, right. Yeah.
Right. So if you search up Slim Time, you'll see me first, and then you see that company. There's no connection. I beg,
There's no
please. I'm
connection.
not.
Okay.
I Yes, the name is Slim Time, but I might not exactly be slim. But that's a that's the recommendation of all the Nigerian aunties. But yeah, so like they have that username on Twitter. I'm still checking every day trying to. I think they haven't been active since like 2018. So I'm like, guy, release the name for me. Let me use my. So on Slim Time, on Twitter, I'm Slim Time Prod, but everywhere like if you just search Slim Time, you'll see me everywhere.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you again for being our guest on this episode. And for our
Always.
listeners, thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Afros in the Diaspora. I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and hopeful. To engage, feel free to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Afros in the Diaspora on all social media and podcast platforms. Remember to leave a review and a rating. If you would like to be a guest, please reach out. Send an email to hi@afrosinthediaspora.com. That is hi@afrosinthediaspora.com. Or send us a DM on Instagram at afrosinthediaspora. Remember, there is beauty in our stories and power in our voices. Together, we are stronger. Until next time.